Welcome to the show, Sriram.
Yeah, pleasure. My pleasure, sir.
Could you tell us about what is DaveAI into?
So Dave is a sales augmentation platform. So we're an AI platform. When I say an AI platform, we have three blocks of technology pieces. And what we intend to solve for customers is today when you walk into a physical store, you have a certain experience with a salesperson coming and assisting you to discover the product, right? Let's assume you're walking into a car showroom. There is a salesperson who helps you discover that car. Now assume that even in the physical space or in a virtual space, you have to recreate that experience. We try and recreate that using virtual sales avatars. So you have a virtual store inside which there is an AI avatar that is able to talk to you, showcase you the products, and try and nudge you to take a positive or a personalized discovery experience and take a purchase decision. And that's the space that we try and operate in.
That means even before I visit a physical store,
Right.
I can come into your virtual store, have a look at it, what is that is available for me, and then make a call. Would that also mean you would have multiple brands under one platform or in one virtual showroom?
No, so we are not a B2B2C sort of a platform. We work with brands. So our customers are the brand itself. So we help these brands create their experiences. So let's say, for example, we work with Maruti Suzuki. So, it's that brand's products that are there. And we are a software provider, for that particular brand. So that's how the experience works. And it works very well for products that involve discovery. Say, for example, if you're buying furniture for your house, or if you're going to repaint your house, or if you're buying a car, it's not simple e-commerce, right? You can just not go look at a thumbnail and make a purchase. You have multiple questions that you would like answered, and you want to see the product in a bit more detail, which is a visual experience in itself. So we try and merge or blend the visualization experience as well as AI to ensure that we're able to create, what probably is an e-commerce plus sort of experience that suits products, which have a complex product discovery or which need a complex product discovery.
Basically, I as a consumer, I'm not interacting directly with you. I'm interacting with you through the product or the service that I'm going to be purchasing.
Absolutely.
Is my understanding correct?
Absolutely. So if you decide to buy, a Maruti car, right, then, you go into a virtual store that is created by Maruti Suzuki for you, which is powered by, Dave's avatars. So our customers are these brands. So we are a B2B company, right? So we sell to lifestyle brands that could be personal lifestyle, home lifestyle, automobile, and so on and so forth. That's the space that we work with. We very recently started working with banking and financial services as well, because we're seeing a small transition that, digital banking has always been there. But then, the brands also want to create a virtual banking atmosphere so that it's more immersive, right? So we believe that in the future, you would probably be wearing a virtual reality device and you would be talking to an AI avatar, and only if need be, select set of people will talk to human beings, right? So that's the future that we foresee. And it helps brands qualify leads better. Otherwise today, let's assume you're running a brand like, a large automobile brand will run ads targeting millions of users. So how do they allocate resources that are talking to the right set of prospects? So today, even millions of customers, probably prospects come in, then Dave is able to quickly qualify these leads. Our idea is not to replace the salesperson, but to augment the salesperson so that he or she is able to talk to the right and relevant leads with relevant data points. So
that would kind of reduce a lot of pressure that the banking staff are in when they're interacting with the potential customers, isn't it?
Every customer who walks into a bank, right, walks in because today you only go into a bank because you probably have a requirement that you're not able to fulfill in the digital or in the net banking space. So you would probably go maybe to, change something in your account, which you're not able to do online, or you are going to probably take a large home loan. So you want to know more about that, right? But there are other customers also who just like to come and inquire, do I have an eligibility, right? But because there are these 50 people who are there, and today banks are becoming smaller, and you have one or two staff who are also transactional managers, but also relationship managers, right? So how do you now create a point where all of these users or customers are getting the same experience, they're able to quickly discover what they want, their eligibility, and so on and so forth. And then we fix up an appointment so that they're able to then carry forward the transaction with a real, relationship manager. And for the relationship manager, like you said, the load of how many people they have to speak to, they can now focus on the right set of customers, and also utilize their time more effectively and efficiently. So that's what we try and help these brands with.
COVID would have made your product more relevant, and the need for it in the virtual space has become even more urgent, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think COVID in some sense helped us accelerate some of the go-to-market strategies, and it's become more relevant for brands. Earlier, it used to be an optional, experience, because we were seeing a 3-year horizon for this product to sort of, what you say, product market fit. We were slightly early, I would say, at that, around first quarter of this year. But when COVID hit, everything changed. So, for example, automobile, a lot of people still walked into the showrooms to book cars. So today, a lot of brands are, looking at selling. So Maruti today came out with an article where they're saying that they're trying to sell 2 lakh automobiles online, right? And that's a big number because end-to-end sales process is going to happen digitally. So for all those brands, I think we become more and more relevant. So virtual banks, if you see, Singapore started giving out virtual banking licenses. It was too early in India, but today we're having very qualified conversations with some leading private sector banks where they're trying to adopt this as a core strategy. And for sure, COVID has helped accelerate the need for a product like ours.
Would your solution or your startup also in some ways help in taking work from home to the next level?
For sales stuff, for sure. We play in the sales augmentation space, and we're trying to be very focused because there are limited resources. And if you go out and try and see Fitment as a platform, we might be relevant for various use cases like work from home. But I think collaboration tools have been there, and there are people who do that better than us in the work from home space. So we try and focus on augmenting sales reps because that's still aligned with our space. So for example, we believe that let's say banking staff today, right? How do they figure out who's the right person to speak to? We've just released an article which talks about virtual sales, where we say that the line between sales and marketing is diminishing faster than ever. So what happens is today you're going to a digital ad and you're trying to figure out what that product is as a customer. Then we are able to quickly qualify that lead and pass it on to the sales rep. So to the sales rep can sit, and instead of trying to go and figure out leads all across, their marketing people are able to give them more qualified leads. And through the Dave experience, I think this collaboration becomes much more easier. That's the space, I think, in the work from home aspect, I think we play in. So for example, today, if a salesperson had to demonstrate a car, he had to bring the customer to the showroom or take the car to the customer's house. But how would that happen digitally? I think that's where we come into play, where you can have the salesperson like how in a Zoom call, but he would be showcasing you the Dave experience inside a virtual store. So it's still like inside a physical store talking to a salesperson. Not everybody would like to talk to an AI avatar. While we are an avatar company, I think we're very cognizant of the limitations that still AI has. Our idea is to quickly qualify this lead and put it on to an actual salesperson so that he can do his job better. So I'm sure that that's a space where we are seeing more and more traction for us.
Indian consumer believes, a lot in touch and feel. My children's generation, my son's generation probably is quite, comfortable working with an avatar. Are you experiencing any change with people willing to be able to, willing to go on a virtual platform and make a sales or a purchase decision?
Yeah. So I still believe that, some aspect of, touch and feel might be required. Let's say, for example, in a car, what happens is you might have experienced the car, when your friend has purchased it. So how that car looks, feels, etc. What you need is more information, right? So even if you go to the showroom, in some cases, customers don't even take a test drive, right? They've already driven their friend's car, or they come with a recommendation, from an influencer who might be a family member or a friend. Furniture, for example, right? You walk into a friend's place for Diwali, you've seen the school sofa, you know this is it, and they tell you that, I bought it from so and so website, and then all you need is to understand more because you've already touched and felt the product. So I still believe in complex products where you're doing a large value purchase. Touch and feel is important, but what we are seeing is that touch and feel need not necessarily be inside a store, right? It can be at different points. So in those cases, customers are comfortable in purchasing online. And like you said, with the millennials and Gen Z, I think it will be more and more, they are more and more comfortable in making large value purchases online. And because, for these large value purchases, there are returns and, different mechanisms that are from a supply chain perspective that's in place, so that even if you don't like that product, you're comfortable in returning and then waiting for a new product to come in. So I think in that way, e-commerce has evolved and digital purchases are happening across segments, right? So that is surely a significant shift, and they are becoming influencers for their parents. Like for example, my parents' generation wouldn't be comfortable in making a purchase online, but I become the key influencer for them to be comfortable to make that purchase. And we're seeing that shift as this new generation becomes the person who controls the disposable income in the family. Then that change is surely foreseen, and I believe that, like you said, COVID has of course accelerated, because the parental generation also says, okay, as long as this is a safe purchase, I'm okay. And they're able to sort of make that decision digitally. And we believe more and more brands are also onboarding into this background of creating virtual experiences.
India being a multilingual country, can I access information on your platform in the language I understand?
Yeah, so that's something that we've recently augmented our experience in. So we have our own experience available in different Indian languages. We also have partnerships because there are strong speech companies that have developed in India over the last year and two. So we also leverage some existing speech engines for regional languages, and we do Hindi, some regional languages like Kannada, etc. very well. But of course, Dave, along with a set of ecosystem partners today, is available in 12 Indian languages in speech, 18 to 22 Indian languages in text. So that's something that we believe that especially scenarios like banking, right, with financial inclusion, etc. It's reaching a larger audience, and one of the anecdotes from research states that tier 2, tier 3 segments are very comfortable in speech, interacting with properties with speech, whereas people like us, we would probably chat or click or whatever. But like my mom, she's very comfortable in speaking. Like my maid here, he's very comfortable in speaking. So on a YouTube search, but I don't do YouTube search on speech. So I think that's an interesting paradigm shift in terms of user experience, and platforms like ours come into play there, and ensuring that we're available in local language kind of adds a lot of acceptability with that segment.
Would I be able to pick my avatar where Iron Man sells me, makes a sales pitch for the car I want to buy?
Yeah, we give that liberty to the brand. So today, if you have a brand ambassador, right, who is a celebrity, let's assume, you can actually come and create, a replica of your brand ambassador and create a digital sales avatar, who actually is your brand ambassador and trying to sell you that particular product, which kind of adds a gamification aspect to it and keeps the interest. While whatever technology is, right, at the end of the day, you have to keep the customer engrossed in that experience. You might have the best technology, but if it isn't visually appealing, I think we lose the sense. So you can create any type of avatar, human-like, avatar-like, Iron Man-like, whatever suits the brand. So we leave that experience to the brand, that decision to the brand. And in some cases they do, some cases they don't. And the technology is still in its early phases. So I'm sure that we will see more and more brands adapt to something like this.
As a startup, what does it mean to you to be part of Nasdaq 2020?
Nasscom's platforms have always been a great tool that provides us the exposure for startups like us. We're part of a couple of programs within Nasscom, Deep Tech Club, Center of Excellence for AI. So through Nasscom, we receive a lot of guidance, from industry mentors. Market access, I think, is key, because for us to reach out through platforms like these, gives also a validation in terms of, so there is also a curation process that happens. Not everybody gets to showcase their products on a platform like Nasdaq. So that curation also gives the confidence for enterprises who walk in and discover startups like us. I think there is a sense of validation that comes along with showcasing in platforms like these, and they have immensely contributed to our growth over the last 2-3 years. Since we've been on various Nasscom forums. So it means a great deal, and I think it's a great experience and an opportunity for startups like us to be part of this platform.
My Startup TV is a platform for startups like yours and the MSMEs.
Right.
And we are showcasing, the idea is to showcase your story.
Right.
What are your thoughts about My Startup TV?
There have been multiple platforms, but especially this, in terms of taking a story out, is very powerful, right? Because you need to know when, say, for example, this also becomes a showcase for us, right? We have limited reach. We don't go and splurge. Especially I think B2B companies, we don't splurge too much on digital. We try and do very focused growth marketing spends. So platforms like these help us reach a larger audience, take our story to the relevant markets, and also show people behind the scenes of products like this. And I hope that more and more people are able to hear these stories, see the passion of the team. It's just, in this case I'm talking, but there is a team of 20-22 people who are who are making the experience happen. So I think taking our stories to different audiences is very, very important, relevant for companies like us. And thanks for the opportunity. I think it's a wonderful platform to be part of. That's what it is.
Thank you, Sriram. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see, or rather, I hope to see Iron Man someday selling a product to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. It'd be a pleasure, and it was a pleasure having being part of this show. And hope that we both of us have a great Nasdaq event. Thank you.
Thank you.